Alright guys, today I'm really excited about this card. I think it's a fun, cute card to give somebody for an anniversary or some sort of celebration. And this is my confetti explosion card. So this is how it works. There. Now let's go ahead and watch that in slow motion. There you go. And let's get started and make this fun card. Okay guys, let's go over the pieces that we need. We're going to need a piece of cardstock, and it is going to be 11.5 by 6, and then we're going to score it in the middle at 5 3/4. You can make a card smaller than this. I just wanted mine a little bit bigger. The only thing you need to make sure is when you're making it that the mechanism doesn't cross your score line, because it'll stop it from working properly. And then our next thing we're going to need is 4 pieces of cardstock that measure 5.5 by 5 3/4. So 4 of these. Okay, 2 more items that you're going to need besides your glue and tape is we're going to need a rubber band and some magnets, because I want to use the magnets to shut my card. If you would like to use that to shut your card, make sure you have some magnets. Okay, so now what we're going to need is a square that's 3 inches, and then in the inside what we're going to do is mark 2 inches. So from one end to the other diagonally, we'll do 2 inches, turn it 2 inches, so forth and so on, until you have a scored 2-inch line. Then once we have that, we're just going to score it like so. And I like to make mine loose, so when I have the confetti on the inside, it's easier for it to pop up. Now this piece here we are going to work on, and I'm going to give you the measurements of that. Okay, now we're going to work on our mechanism, and let's go ahead and start this way. And the measurements is 3.5 by 7 1/4. And then let's do this score line. This score line here is we're going to go up and find 3/4 and score it all the way to the bottom. And then our next score line we're going to do is this score line here, and it is at 2. Go up and find 2 3/4 and score it all the way down to the bottom. Then once we have that, let's go ahead and turn it. Our first line is going to be 7/8 of an inch, so we'll go up 1/7/8 of an inch and score it all the way down to the bottom. And then our next score line is going to be 2 3/4. So we're going to go up and find 2 3/4 and score it all the way down to the bottom. Our next score line is going to be 4 5/8. So we're going to go and find 4 5/8 and score it all the way to the bottom. And then our last score line is going to be 6.5. So we'll find 6.5 and score it all the way down to the bottom. Now we're going to work on these little lines right here. And on these, we're only going to score from here to our long score line that runs horizontally. And then we'll go down to the bottom and do the same thing too. So this one is 2 5/8. So we're going to go up and find 2 5/8 and score it to the first score line. and then go down to the bottom, still doing it at 2 5/8. We're going to start at this bottom score line and score it to the bottom. And then our last score line is going to be this one right here, and it is at 4 1/2. So again, we're going to score it just to the first score line at 4 1/2, go down to the bottom and do the same thing, start at the score line and score it to the bottom edge. Then we're going to place our circles. If you have a hole punch, just take your hole punch, and we want to center the hole punch as best as we can in the middle of our score line here. And we have our hole punch, and your holes can be a little bigger than this. They can be as big as this circle here. And if you're doing it in Design Space, I'm going to give you the positions for the circles. Each of them are a 1/4 inch circle, and you're going to place it at the 7/8 of an inch. The X will be at, and then the Y will be at 5/8 of an inch. And then we'll come over and do this one. You're going to place it at 2 5/8 of an inch for the X. The Y, you're going to place it at 5/8 of an inch. And we'll go do this one. This circle, you're going to place it at 7/8 of an inch. And then for the X and for the Y, it's going to be 4 3/8 of an inch. And then the last one, the X, we're going to place at 2 3/8 and the Y at 4 3/8. And now we're going to go ahead and cut our mechanism. And now we're going to cut from here to the first square line. And we're just going to cut off the little square. So on each of them, that's all we're going to do on the corners. And that's what we should have so far. And then on these sets right here, we're just going to cut out the little square, or rectangle, I guess it would be. We're going to move on to our mechanism. On our mechanism, we're going to fold all of our score lines. Okay, so what we're going to need to do is take our scissors and we're going to cut just where the line, the score line is. We're going to cut or snip it just in the center of the circle, like so. And we're going to do this to all 4 of them, like that. All right. On these 6, I like to trim my corners. Alright. Now what we're going to do is take our 6 tabs and we want to glue them down. So let's go ahead and do that. And then once we have them glued, we're going to turn it over and we're going to put tape on the center, or you can just glue, but what we're going to do is put this in our center box, put our little holder in our center. So let's go ahead and do that. And we should have something that looks like so. Now what we're going to do is place tape on our our two end tabs. Okay, now that we got this done, let's go ahead and just set this aside and move on to our card. Okay, I also wanted to tell y'all and show you, this is a 10 by 6 card that I was able to put it in, and I did it with the card facing this way. And you can use, as long as your mechanism doesn't go past the edge of the card, or if you're going to do it long ways, the score line of your card, you're fine. And then this one, the same thing. It's just a bigger card I did. This is a 7 by 10, and it works well also. But I just wanted to show y'all that you could, it'll fit in different size cards. But now what we're going to do is go ahead and glue our sheets of cardstock onto our card base. Okay, now I have my 2 magnets here. I'm just going to put some tape over them. And then I'll pick this magnet up, set my tape down, like so. And then I'll just shut my card to grab my other magnet. And then we have it all lined up on this side. Now we can pull up our tape. Okay, now we should have this. Now let's go ahead and work on our mechanism and getting it in the card. Now the size of the band-aid, I don't know why I keep calling these band-aids, rubber band, I guess depends on how much you want it to jump, spring forward. And I've been using this red rubber band. I have no idea what size it is, but whatever size it is, if it's too big like this one, I like to put a knot in it in the center. And I guess if you're using a smaller one, you really wouldn't have to put a knot in it. So then we're going to take our rubber band, one of the loops that we've made. And if you didn't make a loop because you used a smaller one, you'll just take one end and put it through. And then go down here to this end and go through the top of this flap and all the way down to where our 2 holes are at. Just gonna scoot it down. So you should have something that looks like so. Now, when we put the mechanism in, your box that's going to hold the confetti is always going to be closest to you. So the only thing we do now is take our tape off and place it. Now, to check where you need to place it, I put my 2 fingers on the bottom of the where my tape is at, and I just pull this forward to see if it's okay. And as long as we're not going past our top of our card, we're fine. Or our score line if you're doing it the other way. So I'm going to do that one more time to make sure. So what I'm going to do, so I know where to place it, because I not only use glue, I also use tape on here too to make it stronger. So I'm going to just mark a little line where I know where I'm going to place my mechanism back at. So now I'm just going to go ahead and take my tape off. And we're going to make sure, again, our confetti holder is to us. And then give this a good rub down underneath. And then all that you do is put some confetti in here. And I like to, I just got out of my husband's shredder to show for purposes, but I like to put colored paper in here too. And then we fold it up like so. And you can put as little or as much as you want. Push it forward. And my magnets, might have to change those, add some more. And I think it's really going to depend how much stuff I put in. But anyways, here we go, guys. Isn't that so cool? Alright, I'm going to play it back in slow motion so you can really get the effect. Okay guys, this is my finished product. This is what I ended up doing with my card. It's for my sister's anniversary. It's coming up in a couple of months. And it says, here's to a couple with lots of sizzle left. And then of course when we open it up, the paper will fly out. And then I just did the happy anniversary. And that's it, guys. And if you're wondering, with my magnets, I ended up having to use a total of 6 magnets. And then one more thing I wanted to show y'all is, if you want to make your own confetti, which that's what I end up doing, all I do is cut little strips, however big you would like it, and then I usually do several colors, and I just take my scrap sheets of cardstock and then I'll stack them up together like so, and you can make it smaller if you want, and then I just cut them up. And I usually have a sheet of paper here so it catches it on the paper, so I'm not having to scoop it all up. But anyways, you get the idea of how to do that. I just wanted to show you that. We did it, guys. I just want to say thanks for crafting with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.